Hello and good morrow to all of you out there who are listening to the Tales from the Rift podcast. I'm your host, Mo Sole. Today we have a very special guest. I'll get to that though. I just wanted to, again, thank you to every one of you out there who encourages me to keep this podcast going. It seems like everywhere I go, as far as like shows, music festivals or whatnot, there's always someone who, if I tell them I run a podcast, they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard of it," and I'm like, "Whoa," I feel like the podcast is probably one of the best kept underground metal podcasts out there. So thank you, whoever's spreading the message, or at least helping me to spread this podcast around, and because without you, it would not be a success. It would not continue to go on, and I mean that all sincerely. Earlier, I was able to attend the Milwaukee Death Fest, and got to see some really cool people. Introduce myself to some like-minded individuals. But more importantly, I got to see some good friends of mine reunite and get on stage, and that being Soilent Green. And I didn't have enough of that performance, of course, so I had to follow them to the Maryland Death Festival. And selfishly, I was there to, not only see Soilent Green perform again, I was actually able to see my good friends Thomas Eriksson and his band Mork from Norway perform their first East Coast performance at Maryland Death Festival. And that was a huge treat. But before those performances took place, I was able to see a long time running favorite, still to this day, take the stage at Maryland Death Festival. And that band was no other than Dismember. I make no qualms about it. I love Swedish Death Metal, and Dismember is synonymous with that subgenre. If you don't know who Dismember is, well, you're probably tuning into the wrong podcast. If not, that's okay. I'll educate you. Dismember is equally as brutal as they are melodic in nature, and they are just, for the lack of a better word, incredible. And the more I get to talk to people around and get to know them as individuals, they're just as equally cool and approachable as their music. I was able to get to know Mr. Richard Cabeza, their bass player extraordinaire, and that's my guest on this episode. So without further ado, let me introduce Mr. Richard Cabeza and hear our conversation. And like in any typical fashion of an episode of Tales from the Rift, the ADD runs apparent big time, and you could tackle on some like huge fangirl moments and and just overall excitement. So here he is, Mr. Richard Cabeza.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Richard?
Oh, good. Does it work for you?
Yeah, it works for me just fine.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. I didn't get the link, and now I'm trying to update my email there, but had no success with that.
Yeah, it's all good. We're going to adapt and overcome, as they say in the Marine Corps, man. That's what we do.
Cool. Yeah. You're a Marine too, huh?
I sure am, man. I was in for about 8 years, then got out, had a 3-year gap in service, and decided I want to go through the Louisiana Air National Guard because I'm just a glutton for punishment.
Nice. What did you do? What was your MS?
I was a machine gunner. I was in infantry.
Nice.
So
Infantry.
Got to shoot the big guns.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. My son is he's in communications. He's in Camp Lejeune now. He did 2.5 years in as an active reserve, and then he signed up a new contract a couple months ago for another 4 years as an active duty.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Good for him, though. I bet he enjoying it.
Yeah, he likes it a lot. He really likes it. He knew really early on that this was the path for him. He already started, the RTC when he was like 14 and started his, he knew what he wanted to do, college and all that. There was not an option, so I had to sign a waiver because he wasn't even 18 when he joined the Marines. So when he went to San Diego for boot camp, so he didn't want to wait.
I had the same experience with my parents. I didn't want to wait. I was 17 years old. Recruiter came to the house, and it was a no-brainer. I had to do it.
Right, yeah, and I wasn't gonna no, you have to wait, but his mom might have been a little bit more reserved, but he's gonna do whatever he wants to, so why hold him back another 6 months,
Exactly. I mean,
that's what I'm gonna do, but he wanted to be infantry first, so he was really bummed out after boot camp when he got into communications, he's like, fuck, man, I want to fucking shoot the bad guys in the face, but then but it's all right. I got to do my second best job, dropping bombs on the bad guys.
Fucking right.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, whatever, man. That's do you, man.
That's the path of least resistance right there, where you could drop a drone out somewhere and just...
Yeah, and as the parent, I'm like, I'm cool with that, at least I don't be on the fucking front like the fucking maniac,
Man, so, y'all got quite the arsenal grip where y'all was at in Dallas. I saw y'all obviously shooting at the range and whatnot. Y'all have that's y'all personal stash, or was that like the ranges?
No, it's my personal stuff.
Nice.
I had quite a lot of. I think I had about 9 or 10 handguns and I think 8 rifles. So that was a big part of this. Of the family. I got 2 sons, and we all. I started shooting with them when they were pretty young, So they're very well trained, very good shooters.
That's awesome. Now that was something that you did while you were growing up in Sweden as well. I mean, was like
no. You can't do that shit in Sweden, So that's something I did when I moved to Texas. As soon as I was allowed to, I bought my first handgun, as soon as I got my ID card. And I always liked it a lot. And now I had the opportunity. And some of my friends, come from a family with military background. So, it was just, a big interest for me. That's one thing living now here in Europe that I miss is my guns, But yeah, I couldn't think that.
So you couldn't take any of the rifles, any of the guns with you back?
No. Europe is different, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Norway a few times. I've actually gotten married in Denmark, and
oh really? Yeah. Your wife's from Denmark? Oh, nice.
No. We're both American.
But you got married in Denmark?
Yeah, my wife is a huge Shakespearean fan, and when she found out that we can get married in the Kronenberg Castle, which inspired Hamlet, she was like,
right, that's what's happening.
So yeah, we're doing that destination wedding, no family involved, just us. That's how we did it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's not that in Texas here, fucking you just go in and buy the shit like you buy a gallon of milk,
Oh god, yeah.
I had a LTC too, so you just go in and pick what you want. I want that one, and fucking off you go, and let's go and stop at the range, guys, and see what this is good for, But I left some stuff for my kids, rifles and some handguns for them, and plates and all that. Well, obviously my oldest son, he doesn't need any of that stuff, but I fucking hooked him up,
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's what good dads do. I mean,
yeah, when shit hits the fan, they're ready, man.
Yeah. Speaking of good dads, man, we just had Father's Day, and my dad was a huge influence on me musically, and I know that a lot of heads alike Kiss, man. Like, I mean, I know you're a Kiss fan as well, and I just want to ask, what was one of your first Kiss albums that you grew up listening to, like, steadily?
Uh, is this part of the interview, what we talked about, the guns and all that stuff?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe not then. I thought we were shooting the shit, and then I'm like,
Oh yeah, I
wait a
mean,
minute.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna shoot the shit. You know, that's just kind of.
I would have to talk. I would have talked differently if
Oh
if it was
no,
everybody.
man! Look, like I mentioned to you, you know, in privately, you know, it's a relaxed conversation, man. It's no.
Yeah. No, that's all good. I was just relaxing, us talking. Then.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Wait a
mean, you know,
minute, did
whenever
we start already,
oh,
or?
yeah, I hit record.
I think I shared too much then.
No. You didn't share that too much at all.
Well, to go back to the Kiss thing, I have an older brother, you know, so he introduced me to Kiss when I was like really young, you know, probably like 4 or 5, something like that. So I don't know what the first album was, but I would probably say there was probably Alive, Kiss Alive,
Mm-hmm.
and Destroyer was probably, you know, around, I would think around that 75, 76, around sometime there, you know. But it was not until probably 90, 80 that I purchased my first album, and I was Unmasked, of course.
No, yeah, exactly.
That just been released, so, but yeah.
I'm real curious because I'm a huge fan of everything Scandinavia, and obviously I grew up with Dismember, man. Like y'all, the first album that was exposed I was exposed to was, you know, ever flowing stream, of course, back in 97, 98. I was kind of late to it, but still
Damn.
yeah, I was a little late to it. But once I got my hands on it, I mean, it was. I knew that I loved my death metal Swedish, and I loved my black metal Norwegian. You know, I just, with the exception of Dissection, of course. The Dissection is just fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
But man, between you guys and the Entomb Camp, I mean, I've never strayed away from those from y'all two bands. I just, when it comes to death metal. So cheers to y'all. And making some of the most influential fucking music that's ever been. I feel like I'm talking to death metal royalty right now. That's just where
you are. I appreciate it. No, I mean, hey, late or not, you know, you got to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's been fun, you know. I was telling my wife the other day, you know, we did a show in Sweden. I've seen a couple because we always do like meet and greets or signing session wherever we go, you know, just to meet fans, and you see a lot of young people, and they're pulling up like Nephilim Stream or Pieces or, you know, stuff from like Massive Killing Capacity, you know, like, oh, this is the first album, you know, I got into, and it's like my favorite one. I just got it like 2 years ago, and it's like, wow, cool, you know. It's you know, they hold their time, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, those albums have staying power like nobody's business. It's fucking incredible. You could put on something from 91, 92 that from you guys, and it feels just as relevant today.
Right. It's honest death metal, you know. It's from our hearts, so.
Yeah.
Always been.
I watched a couple of podcasts that you were a part of, and, you know, someone had asked you what was the thought process and all that, but I know better. I know that because, you know, I'm a wannabe musician myself, and like once you get into a rehearsal space, it's just like who's ever got the first note, whoever's got something in hand, it's like y'all just build off of that, and it's just at that point y'all just having fun. And I just can't imagine the amount of fun that y'all had recording this first debut album and the demos as well. I mean, it just sounds like, you know, a young band, just like you said, y'all want to fucking kick ass, get drunk, get high, or whatever it was, and just destroy. And it came off that way.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a lot of fun, and we, like I said, it's always been very honest. We just fans of the music ourselves, and just when you start playing, you get in. We lived in the rehearsal room, and that's all we did. Fucking listening to death metal and heavy metal, thrash metal, just fucking eat shit and breathe death metal in general, and just writing those songs. And as you said, we were just in there playing, having fucking fun, laughing, and just playing music. And like you said, we just wanted to be in a band and do our own shit and fucking go out there and just fucking destroy. We were quite young when we released the first album, and when we start touring, we were 18, 19 when we start fucking traveling the world doing touring and shit in Europe and the States. And we just had a blast, we just fucking living a dream, fucking being out there playing death metal, fucking going bananas and just having a great time, man.
How was it like growing? Look, my podcast is like a fucking Tarantino movie. We're gonna go backward. We're gonna go forward. We're gonna go side to side. So
it's all good.
Please excuse my ADD. But I was just curious about like what was life like growing up in Sweden? If you could, tell me any about that.
I mean, it's definitely different than now, for sure. But I mean, I think Europe in general is a very different place than what I remember from let's say, from the 80s or even 90s, But it was great, I mean, it's like anybody, wherever you grew up, we had a good time. I loved Stockholm, I was proud where I come from. And the only downside were that not a lot of bands came up there, especially not the extreme music. We always had the big bands, Priest, Maiden, and, those kind of caliber bands, the big bands and Motorhead and all that stuff. But when it came to more extreme metal, most bands kind of stopped at northern Germany or sometimes Denmark, but not a lot of bands came up to Sweden. That didn't start until probably like 89, I think. Morbid Angel came up to Sweden, and that was a big thing. And from there on, boom. Because there was a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but, we were, especially in the early beginnings, there was this circle of friends, we all were into this music. And, back in the demo days, it was always like the posters always looked the same, it was Nihilist, Dismember, Treblinka, and, then later on Unleashed. And, it was kind of the same group of people at all the shows, and we all knew each other. And then more and more people start, you're hanging out and like, oh, let's get our own band together and whatnot. And, the scene just start growing, and, but no, it was good, and the shows were fucking great, especially when, I think when a lot of bands came up to Sweden, they realized, how big it was in the country, because it's a tiny country, small country, but there's a lot of fucking bands coming out of there. And if you just look from now back, there's a lot of good quality coming out of there. But pretty much fucking everybody had their own band,
Yeah. Everyone had their, it seems like around that time, between 89 and 94 or something like that. I mean, I know a lot of you had a main band and a side band. I mean, there was no shortage of that, right? Because I mean, you've got History and Unanimated and
yeah, Unanimated was my first band, before I joined Dismember. But yeah, pretty much, that's all we did, fucking play music, listen to music, hanging out, and have a good time,
How early in Sweden do they start teaching you music, like in school or like any kind of formal training like that, or you just pick up the bass?
Formal training, but I do remember being in school, and you had like music classes, but I would say it differ from how things are in the States, that, you pick instruments and like my youngest son, he was in the orchestra for a while and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that you get taught by playing, we're all self-taught up there,
Really?
Oh yeah. Especially, myself, when we started on Animated, we were like, what, 14, 15? Well, let's get a band together. But I'll play drums, guitar. And like, well, I guess bass,
Yeah.
That's really how it went down, and you just picked the instrument that you thought were cool, and then you just figured it out,
Yeah. So
My brother is a bass player. He's 9 years older than me, so I could always, go back to him and like, hey, show me some stuff, But we are self-taught, the will,
Yeah.
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, a lot of the people who starting out to learn an instrument these days, I mean, they have the world at their fingertips. I mean, they can learn via YouTube, books, the internet.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's fun, It's like it's a different world. I don't think the generation today can understand how things were, just say 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago. 35 when we all started. It's not the same thing. And like you said, I mean, there are a fuck ton of these YouTube videos. People just listening and fucking playing. That shit that would have been science fiction back then. You
Right.
can't just fucking put on an album, just take everything away and just listen to the bass and shit like that. And you have all these. I mean, people are so much more skilled today. I think you see all these guys and girls are they're just badass at their instruments. It's pretty amazing. But
it's amazing, and it's kind of like an ego killer in the same time, because if you just go across Instagram, like all these social media influencers and musicians alike that are just so skilled, like you're talking about, they're 8 years old, 13 years old, and just shredding like Ingve. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, there's one thing, sitting in your room and just fucking shred. I mean, we all back then too was just, that's all we did, playing at home or listening and fucking and shit. But sitting at home and doing your YouTube videos and stuff, and having your one-man band or whatnot, they forget the main part, and it's what's in here, and the reason why you're doing it,
Yeah.
We were on a mission, We had something to say.
Yeah, I mean, and it's very evident in that in all the liner work, the artwork, and the photography on the debut album. Like, I got my copy here, and I was just I was just like, man, look at them handsome devils right there. I mean,
yeah, look at that.
I mean, dude,
six motherfuckers.
I mean, when I opened up that album right there for the first time when I was 17, 8, I was like, dude, this is the shit. This is what I'm into. Like this puts away like everything. I mean, of course, I heard of Cannibal Corpse. I heard of Morbid Angel. I was listening to both bands, but something about the Scandinavian sound just really pulls me in. Because
we had our sound, that's for sure. It's like back in that day, you had, it was like Stockholm and Tampa was like the capital of, something came out from Tampa or, from Tampa, it's a pretty good chance it was pretty good,
Yeah.
A lot of stuff were, you had these hubs, where, music were just growing, and all the bands have their sound, but like with everything, it's getting a little bit boring after a while, but the elite will always stand, like after a while, there were so many fucking records recording in Morris sound, and you're like, it's all starting to, but again, to go back to you go back to why you're doing this stuff, it's got to be from your heart, and like I said, for us, I think today, this whole rebellion thing is just lacking, a lot of bands coming out today, and I'm not going to dog on our people, but I mean, just how they look like and fucking how they play, and just because you play fast and fucking growl, that doesn't make it death metal to me. It's much more to it.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's an attitude.
Yeah. We it's become a little cookie cutter here in the States that I could see. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it happens. I mean, you got your main pioneers like yourselves of the genre. Especially when it comes to Swedish death metal. I mean, y'all, by and large, the pioneers that started it all, along with Nihilus and Entomb. And it just seems that these days, like you mentioned, it's just a lot of people are just getting on stage because they have that particular venue to do so, and
Yeah.
and more often than not, it doesn't sound passionate. It doesn't sound like it has a whole lot of depth and weight to it.
Right. But like you said, today, nowadays, people have that venue to do so, but I don't think people understand the struggles we have and
Yeah.
like death metal bands in general had back then, the struggles we had to just trying to put a show up or just getting your music out there, with tape trading and shit, I mean, that's just, a myth, a legend for bands today, but the struggles we had to fucking do what we wanted to do, it's very different, and like I said,
Yeah, I think a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
no, this whole underground was just different, nowadays, people have, like you said, the social media, YouTube and all this crap, it's much easier, but, they forget, the rawness. And like I hear a lot of people like, oh, Dismember and all that stuff, the old school, this and that. And like, we don't look at it like that. We're not old school. We are death metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it just goes to this, like, again, like going to repeat, y'all got the
Evolve and all that stuff. It's great, but it's got to be good. And you got to remember what it's about, That's how I look at it,
What are your thoughts, being that you're with the position that you're in, what are your thoughts on these bands that like that use so much technical prowess, like just constantly like changing tempos, changing chord structures and all of that, and it's just like to the point of an extreme to where it kind of feels inaudible. Like
I mean, I'm not the one to sit here and judge, I mean, they're, like I said, they're fucking amazing musicians. They put down a lot of work and stuff, but it's, my personal opinion, it sounds a little bit comical, I mean, first and foremost, this music was about rawness and brutality,
right.
Rebellion, and, I don't see that, You can play as fast as you want, how technical you want, or whatnot, and put on whatever cover you want, but it's easy to see through all that,
Yeah, I had missed the meet and greet in Maryland because I was there, but I was not missing the show. And I tell you, I was pretty far from the stage, but my camera was able to pick up a good bit of the y'all playing. And man, I was like watching through my camera the entire time, and I was just like, man, this just takes me back. And
right.
It was like
it was
just like a gut check for like what's really fucking death metal.
I appreciate that. No, it was fun, and the meet and greet was great. It was a lot of fucking people, and people were really, really appreciating that we took our time doing that. And a lot of people told us, like, this is so cool, you guys doing that, and you're not charging. And we're like, of course not. And that goes back to today, a lot of bands like, who the fuck do you think you are, You're going to charge people to fucking meet you to get your fucking autograph? Get fucking real, dude. You should be happy people coming to your fucking show,
Man, that hearing that from you just like makes this interview conversation so much more enjoyable because it just like the humility that you have after all these years. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I don't know how to put it in better words than that, but man, like the skill set that you have and the personality that you have, I can tell that you're having fun on that stage every single time.
Oh yeah, man, we wouldn't be doing it, And I mean, when we got back a few years ago, it was like a time stood still, man. It was 1991 again, It was like, yes, we're having fun what we're doing, and we I appreciate it so much and feel, honored to, after all, for so long, we can still do this, there's still people coming to our shows and new people. And I mean, there's more people now than probably ever, because the genre is so much bigger. It's a completely different ball game, but, to be doing this for over 35 years, if it's not for the fans, you wouldn't be you would hating life and fucking want to take a bath with a toaster every day, working your day job,
Yeah. That's
why we like to meet our fans everywhere we go,
I love that.
Never. And there's been places that, ask us if we can do a meet and greet and stuff. We're like, obviously, they're like, we're going to shorts. And like, well, I'm going to stop you right there. It's no shorts, This is, if our fans want to meet us and take pictures, talk to us and fucking get their shit signed, that's free of charge, they're invest, that's the least you can do as a musician, give a little bit of your own time. Is that too much to ask,
Right. And what's fresh in my mind, like, I gotta say, dude, the opening, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on this, but the opening bass lines of Dreaming in Red is, how'd you come up with that? Like that is fucking phenomenal. Like, did you have that first, or did you just feeding off of?
I think it was written. You just play, and and then we start building on that.
That's like one of my favorite tracks ever. I mean, along with everything that y'all have done, and I'm really curious because I heard on that previous podcast you did, you wasn't too happy with the results initially with Massive Killing Capacity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good album, but I think a lot of things just pass through the filter that probably shouldn't. I wouldn't say that we were too influenced by the outside, but at the same time, you had a little eye of the record company, and it's the first album that we did that we actually had a producer. Thomas Skogsberg actually produced the album. We had all our songs, and we got into the studio, and he's like, you know what, cut that off and play this 4 times and go straight into chorus and stuff. And that was just like, what the fuck? And like, just changing the sound a little bit heavier, I mean, it's easy now to sit and say that, like, whatnot. I mean, still a great album, but, it could have been a lot heavier and a lot rawer for sure, but I think we just took the filter off a little bit and let a lot of things slip through. But I think we realized that ourselves, all of us, really fucking fast, that like, maybe this is not really what we wanted to do. And that's what death metal is, what it is, the next album called Death Metal.
Yeah, and that's probably like, after, I mean, it's hard for me to choose a favorite, but they all have special places in my heart. Every one of your albums, and I just love death metal. Death metal seems like kind of like a return to what y'all did on the previous albums after Killing Capacity.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, it's got a lot more harmonies and a lot more heavy metal influence, because we're all fucking big heavy metal fans. That's why we grew up on, we got spoon-fed that shit in our breast milk, But we just wanted to go back to what we are and who we are and what Dismember is all about. And that's just straight up fucking death metal, there was just a little bit too much groovy stuff and heavy stuff. We like to play fast,
Yeah, and I'm curious, being that you're, from Sweden and Stockholm and all that, was Anti-Cimex and other like these D-beat punk bands that came out after some of the stuff you grew up on, was that ever discussed or listened to or like influential at all on your on
I mean, definitely not influenced at all, but I mean, we got some D-beats and stuff too, we sure enjoyed a lot of that stuff because back in the mid 80s and late 80s, there was, like I said, at the shows, it was all kind of mixed in hardcore, punk rock, and death metal, and grindcore. It was just under one umbrella, It's not as much divided as it is today with all these genres, You fucking lose your mind,
Yeah. I I'm sure there was a
But
bunch of crossover over there, just like we have.
right, right. But I think I don't think that we were too much influenced by hardcore or punk rock at all. Even though we had we have those D beats that did more
Yeah.
stuff, but that came more from like bands like Master and Death Strike and stuff like that, and more trash and stuff.
Man, it's funny you mentioned Death Strike. I was just listening to that yesterday. I was listening to the fucking Truth on the way back from work. Hell yeah.
It's good shit, man.
That's some really good shit. Like that album, man. Another pioneer in the game, and that's cool that y'all are into it as well.
Hell yeah! I mean, those are the forefathers for death metal, and I mean, don't get me wrong here, but nowadays everybody's when you talk about birth of death metal, everybody's just talking about possessed or death.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Death Strike.
Absolutely.
Death Strike and Master kind of like get they fall by the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but just because it didn't have an album out, but I mean, there's a lot of other bands that that I think should be mentioned as far as the pioneers and the birth of fucking this genre and death metal. Like you said, Master, Death Strike, fucking Oblivion, Devastation. Was a lot of American bands that fucking was ripping it too at that time, just because they never got opportunity to release an album, but. Fucking like we were all influenced about all those bands back then, especially the tape trading, all these demos, people should look into that shit, but there was a lot of stuff that came out 85, 86, 87, like a Devastation from Chicago, Pre-Syndrome, we listened the fuck out of that shit too,
Yeah. Shit, I feel like I'm getting schooled right now and I'm 44 years old.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to take away anything from Possessed and
No.
Death. But we all worship that too, and even though I'm more like the earlier stuff of Death, it seems like everybody's talking Death today. They're talking symbolic and that stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't stop listening to them by then. It's not that is not the death metal I like.
Yeah. What was as far as these American bands you mentioned? Was there anyone that you toured with? Excluding Morbid Angel from the conversation, because I know y'all toured with those guys. But like later down the years, were there any American bands that that were you felt as though that was your counterpart? Like like these guys are pretty much like the same like-minded as the guys as the Dismember camp that y'all got along with and just want to be around, tour along, more?
I mean, we were fortunate to tour with a lot of, good bands back then, obviously, like you said, Morbid Angel, but, Sadist, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, Death, we did a show with Autopsy. We never toured with them, but when I think we did our first U.S. tour back in '93, we got the opportunity to jump in on the bill in L.A. Autopsy did a show, and for me, that was like, holy mother of fuck, this is like the epiphany of our career. Can it get any better? We did a show with Autopsy, because for me and for us as a band, another band that's huge influence for us and just awesome band, just massive band, and get the opportunity to play with those guys. But, we played and did shows with a lot of these, old band B-side. We toured with them, Suffocation, or we talking early 90s, fucking when death metal was death metal.
I know. I'm like, along with every other interviewer, like we're asking you questions, taking you back to another time, and trying to get not the far reaches of your memory, and but I apologize for that, because it was a time where like 91, I was 11 years old and I was still into Slayer and Black Sabbath and the and obviously Iron Maiden, Judas Priest and whatnot, but it's like once I heard about death metal I went into like a seething cauldron of just this rabbit hole, I guess. And it was death. It was everything you mentioned, obituary, possessed even. And I didn't know just how like melodic the Swedish death metal sound could be whenever I heard y'all guys. And I could just hear that. I mean, that Maiden influence, like just through and through the mixes. So it was Steve like the biggest influence you had as far as bass is concerned?
Who?
In Maiden.
Steve?
Yeah.
I hate to say, but no, not really.
No. Who?
No, not for me personal, but Iron Maiden as a band. I mean, come on, Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
What can I say? It's if the fucking alien came down to Earth now and asked what fucking metal is, you're like, here, check this out, it's fucking Iron Maiden.
So who did you like? I guess model your bass playing after? If you had anyone to pick out.
I mean, I really don't. I just enjoyed playing. Were there bassists that I like thought were fucking badass, and like Steve DiGiorgio, was always when you heard the first Autopsy album, Severed Survivor, and when you heard him play it, you're like, holy shit,
yeah,
shitball. This is different, this is awesome, and the first Sadus album and the demos, it's like a fucking great bass player, but I honestly never had any like in metal that I like the style, but I mean, I really enjoy how bass players maybe fit into the band, maybe a little bit more than how skilled they are,
Mm-hmm.
Like Timmy Hansen from Merciful Fate, King Diamond is, one of my favorite bass players, just how the bass works in with the music and, and, of course, Cliff Burton, like in the early 80s, like, wow, it's pretty cool,
Yeah. Whenever you first got exposed to metal, what was that first band? I mean, aside from Priest, Maiden, like I guess I'm curious, like which was it Metallica as far as the American bands that like kind of really exposed?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, in the early 80s, you like you said, the obvious bands, Iron Maiden, Saxon, Priest, Motorhead, Kiss, and yada yada, But then I think about 84, 85, someone played like Ride the Lightning, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, damn. Like, all right. Then they played Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath, Bathory, Destruction, Infernal Overkill. And then, 86, you start, you heard Clash to Kill, Sodom, and you were like, what the fuck? You thought like Priest and Motorhead and, like, that was fucking rowdy, and then you just heard Destruction and fucking that kind of stuff. You're like, wow. And then from there on, it's like, I need some more of this. This is talking to me, I identify with this shit,
Yeah.
But, I mean, you were so young too, so that was, I mean, you hear a new band today, it's so different, But then it was just like, what the fuck, It's like when I heard Scream Bloody Gore for the first time. It's fucking 1987, You're a fucking kid, 12 years old. You go buy the vinyl, you put that on, and you bam, bam. You're like, holy shit, what the fuck? And then, whoa, you're like, whoa, what is happening?
Yeah.
What is happening? And,
it's a fucking
slowly we rock with Obituary, Yeah, totally, man. Just like, dude, you never look back again,
No, you don't. It's like that. You see that meme running around, or whatever. It's just, it's not a phase, Mom. It's once I put the metalhead hat on, it never came off.
No, no, for sure. But I mean, for me at least, it's like I said, death metal is not the phase or just something that you into. It's a lifestyle. It's something that you identify with.
So whose idea was it to cover y'all in the fake blood for the photo shoot?
In the pig blood?
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably Fred, probably. Or you know what? I take that back because that's what I always thought all those years. But I just did an interview and we were talking about all this, and Fred was there, and he actually told me it was my idea.
Yeah,
I forgot about that because I always thought it was somebody else's. He's like, really? He's like, yeah. You told us that we should get pig gloves and just fucking cover us, fucking pour that shit all over yourself because there was a Black Sabbath show back in 1989 in Stockholm, and there was all these Christian protesters, So me and my buddy went and bought some blood and like throw at them and shit like that. So he's like, no, I guess it was my idea.
So Watain could personally thank you for their live performances of like all the pig blood. Sorry about that.
Yeah, different thing.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome, man. And it was actually it's your torso that's on Obscene, right?
That is correct.
That's ripped open and all that.
Yeah, that's my torso. But I mean, again, that stuff was shocking back then.
Oh, yeah.
People don't understand that today. That how shocking and different that was. That's the same thing when fucking back in the '60s, Alice Cooper or fucking Kiss or I mean, they took us to trial in fucking England, because of one of our songs, and people got offended,
Yeah, and I like how y'all came back and clapped back at them and like with death metal or eviscerated bitch.
Yeah. We're like, all right, well, I mean, for us, I mean, we couldn't give any less. We couldn't care any less. It's like whatever, dude. We do what we do.
Yeah.
We're Dismember and we do what we do, and so yeah, let's do eviscerated bitch and see how they like this shit.
Yeah.
If you follow us Indecent and Obscene, but hey, that's what we are then. But this is what we do. We like doing it.
I think it's comical that you have all these maybe right wing or I don't know which political party decides that something is obscene or indecent and all that when here in America it's a air quotes free country to say I know exactly, that's why I did the air quotes,
land of the free and the brave. when it fits the government. Yeah,
correct and but was there, I guess, any moment whenever y'all were going through those trials and whatnot, was it like, man, I'm going to lose my livelihood at this point? And I'm, like you said, y'all were young. Y'all were like 18, 19 years old or whatnot. Did y'all feel as though that it was headed in a direction where they won't let us do this shit anymore?
I mean, that wouldn't have stopped us, I mean, what are you going to do? Put us in jail? I mean, come on. What are you going to do? Do you think, I mean... They probably, I mean, here's the deal, I might have talked about it before too, but when they took us to trial there in England, it was so much bigger than just us, This could have changed the course of music at that time as far as censorship and what. The same thing as, back in, was it 85, that PRMC in the States there, when they took Snyder and Judas Priest and all that. This is exactly the same thing, but a couple of years later,
Yeah.
If we lost the case, it would have changed. They would have gone after everybody, and it would have changed how the music industry and how censorship work,
Yeah.
But obviously, it didn't go their way,
Yeah, I'm glad for that. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think we really understood the seriousness at that time. We were like, what the fuck, we were just laughing about it. It's like, whatever, but even though we knew the consequences and what was going on, I mean, we were on MTV every fucking hour, and we're like, okay, we had to fly to England. There was fucking press, and it was a great PR for us, but I don't think we understood the gravity of things, We were just like, well, why, why the fuck did they come after us for, What the fuck, It's like, fuck you, you're not gonna like what we got in store for you. then, you know.
Right. I remember like, I was huge into all the the metal magazines here in the States, like Hit Parader and Metal Maniacs and Rip Magazine, all that shit. Oh, look how cute that kitty is.
Mhm.
What's your cat's name?
Olivia.
That's a pretty name.
Yeah, she came with me from Texas.
Oh, she did? Oh, yeah. Well, I lost my train of thought because of the kitty. Uh, uh, God damn it. See, AD ruined it. But anyway, shit, lost my train of thought, Richard. But switching topics, I guess, is a good. You spent 20 years in Dallas, man. If you don't mind,
Correct.
if you don't mind my asking, like, you just wanted to change the pace, or to live in the States, or it was kind of
Uh, my children's mom was from Texas.
Gotcha. That makes all the sense.
It's always a woman involved.
But in the course of that, did you get your dual citizenship?
Yeah, I've been a U.S. citizen since 2008 or something.
What? Man, so you coming back as you please.
Yep.
Man, I am so envious of that because the past few years, I've been really privileged to meet some people in Norway, Portugal, and man, I don't know. It's like the way life here in the States is coming to be. It's like, man, like I kind of want to jump ship too, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Hey, a lot of Americans say that, but let me tell you, Europe ain't much different. It's always where you're at in the pot that you're at. You think it's fucking that. Coming back to Europe now, like I said, it changed a lot.
Yeah.
For the better, I'm not so sure.
So I'm really curious of like this next run that y'all gonna have as far as the festivals. Y'all looking forward to any particular shows that y'all haven't, like any cities you haven't played in a while, or is just like the whole thing's exciting?
I mean, any U.S. show is it was great being back at the MDF in Baltimore there a couple of weeks ago. Because it's been 32 years since last time the five of us played together in the U.S.
That's wild.
So of course that we could feel it. We were excited. It was great to be back in the U.S. And any of the U.S. shows coming up, we got New York, Chicago, and San Antonio, and Oakland, California Death Fest. I mean, all of those shows are special for us. It's just being. Last time we played was 1993. We toured the U.S. with the original lineup. It's a long time ago, So of course we're fucking excited,
Yeah. That's one thing I had to ask you because I've driven through Dallas a few times in my life, and how much of a fan are you of Dallas interstate travel?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it sucks, man.
It does.
Dallas sucks driving, man.
I remember
it's like where I live now. It's like I can go. I'm in Belgium, right? So I can go to fucking Ghent in like 25 minutes, or Bruges or Brussels in an hour. I'm like 25 minutes. That's fucking 3 blocks, man. It's 5 o'clock in Dallas,
My wife and I went to see Sleep perform at the Bomb Factory.
Right on.
Back in 2019, I think it was. It was just before COVID had hit. And getting there, I mean, it's like you merge onto an interstate, and the lane, like, I understand there's a merging lane, but the lane that we merged onto just stopped. Like, it came to a concrete barrier, and like, if I didn't catch it in time, I would have died. I was like, what the fuck? So
yeah, it's the fucking wolfness driving down there. Driving downtown Dallas ain't fun, man.
Yeah, I say that saying, like, congrats to you for surviving that long, 20 years in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I basically learned how to drive in Dallas.
Did
So,
you really?
in Stockholm. Yeah, I really didn't drive in Stockholm, because it's like New York. There's subways and buses. It's much easier to get around that way. But yeah, it sucks driving in Dallas.
Yeah.
That's no lie, and Dallas is big too. To the area. It's fucking take you forever to go anywhere, bro.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, I have friends in the band Goat Whore and Silent Green, and I think they have Dallas on their on one of their upcoming tours, and I'm like, no, that's probably one show. I'm just gonna take an L on it, and I'll see y'all when you get back closer to me in in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, it fucking sucked going to shows down there too, and fucking then you're gonna drive home, and you had a little bit of, and fucking dealing with all that shit, you're like, fuck, man, I'm fucking losing my shit there, taking an hour just to fucking get on the highway,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Get on the fucking highway.
Yeah, and man, but like, I want to go back to what you carry and like. Or what you did carry, as far as like your concealed carry weapons, man. Like you
Mm-hmm.
primarily a Sig Sauer guy.
A what?
You're like a Sig Sauer. 6 Hour.
6 Hour was my primary,
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple Glocks too, but my daily carry was a Glock 19 and a 6 Hour P220 45. That was my primary, and my backup was my Glock 19.
Yeah. I shot you a message, or maybe it was a comment whenever on the post that you were in the range with your boys, and I was like, man, you need to check out an HK VP9. That's what I carry, but then I went to a couple posts later. You're there shooting the HK MP5. I was like, never mind.
The MP5.
He already knows what HK is all about.
Oh yeah. They're fucking great, man. There's a lot. It's just that those the Sig. I think it's the fucking. I love Sigs. They're great. I love my P220.
See, I used to. In addition to being a podcaster, I used to work for a gun store.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, and like I was like privy to like everything that's like new and coming on the markets and whatnot, and there is a company called Lone Wolf, and they make their own. They started out as a Glock, like you go to that company if you want to trick out your Glock 19,
right?
So they made a gun called the Dust 19, and I mean,
nice.
It's right out of the box. It's a tricked out Glock 19. It's got your.
I gotta check that out.
Picatinny. It's got Picatinny rails in the bottom already out the gate. On the top,
really?
Yeah. If you want to put a light, a laser, or an optic, I mean, and it also accepts Glock 19 magazines.
Mags, nice.
So, yeah. If you're a fan of Glocks, check out.
Yeah. I had a couple of Glocks. Like I said, either I had my P220. That was my primary. Because it's always good with a 45. You want to do some damage. If you want to end what you got to end. It's always good. Oh. I know a lot of people. 45 is too much. But it's all what you used to. I can't tell you how many thousands of rounds I put through that. So it's no different to me. But I love carry. I used to carry my Glock 19X as well, like that. And another Sig that I carry was the MP17. I like that a lot. That's fucking love shooting that thing, man. It's so fucking smooth, And I think all of them. It's easy to put your red dots and your lasers and your lights on those things too, and with holsters, it's good, But I know I got some feedback. I made a post because I carry my bag, in my fucking appendix, and I just fucking here, people are, it's like that's because you're not comfortable with guns, I am,
So am I. You know,
yeah. You know, oh, I'm gonna shoot the dick off. No, you're not. Shit doesn't, doesn't just go off by itself. You know, the car is not just gonna fucking drive off. You know, if you don't fucking, So it's like if you're not comfortable around them, it's of course, people might think it's, because I got some backlash, and of course I used to post some more shit because I know a lot of, especially Europeans, and maybe some Americans a little bit farther north, they might have something, but like you said, I made my kids very comfortable with guns and gun safety at the early age, so.
Yeah. And in a time where, the shit in the world is just popping off, you never know. And
no.
I'm one of those people that it's better to have it than need it, and not have it.
Oh, you bet, but I can understand, people, they might think, you go a little bit excessive, but like, well, hey, how many fucking sneakers do you have? How many fucking purses do you have? And how many fucking guitars do you have? Don't fucking tell me what I should or should not have, it's I enjoy them. I like them. I spend hours with it every fucking day.
Yeah.
But yeah, you come to my house, it might be like, whoa, what the fuck's happening? Because there's shit everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I feel like you just became my favorite bass player of all time.
And like I said, my you're like, oh, you got kids and shit, and like they would never touch anything. They would ask, hey, Dad, can I fucking pick up your rifle? Because, I just had it fucking sitting next to the bed. Yeah, sure. You know what to do with it, just check it, before, or like, hey, can I play with your fucking, yeah. I had a fucking, a gun on the nightstand, a fucking AR leaned next to it, and a fucking shotgun under the bed, No different. My son, he's a Marine, He's got his fucking gun and his fucking rifles right next to his bed, too,
Yeah.
And I got extras, too. Shit is defend. And my youngest here's your shit,
I apologize to anyone out there watching or listening to this in the future if it just became a total gun nerd out, but that's what we're doing. I mean, like I said, this conversation.
A lot of musicians talks about pedals and amps and fucking mics and whatnot. Doesn't interest me. Shit, It don't.
Let me show you something real quick. You might like this.
Uh-huh. Nice. Nice.
Let's see. My buddy got me a Wrighton scope, which is
nice.
I didn't put anything flash on it just yet.
No, I was just gonna say, man. There's a rangefinder and fucking your lights and fucking a grip, pistol grip, and you fucking good to go, man.
Oh yeah,
that's nice. I missed them a lot, I missed them a lot.
Well, man, whenever you come back to the States, you got to give me a ring. We got to go do some shooting together.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love fucking AR-15s. Are fucking great, man. What manufacturer was that?
This is it's a 7 upper. Because it was a GI 7.
Oh, okay.
From 7 Weapons. V7, sorry.
Right. I had a couple, I think I had 6 or 7 ARs, for different use, You have to fucking, I had a Smith & Wesson that, I trained my boys with, just something, simple, just fucking pa, just get similar, and, then, all kinds of stuff and Colts. And my favorite one had a really nice Daniel Defense that I decked out with fucking scope and everything, fucking ready for D-Day,
Yeah, same here, man. I saw Daniel Defense just came out with another AR platform rifle where you can like trick out the paint job and everything like that. It looks sick. I'll send you the link to that when I find it.
Nice.
It's like a silver type of like a flat silver paint job, and it just looks sick. Like I don't even know if I would want to shoot it. It looks so pretty.
Right. No, fucking great, man. Fucking great guns for sure.
But I'm
also a big AK guy.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't have in my arsenal. One of my good friends, he actually builds them, and
Oh, really? Nice.
yeah. So and he gets all his parts, I believe, from the Czech Republic or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're pretty legit.
Yeah. No, they're great. Especially I know. Oh, AK and AR-15. Especially in the US, and but I'm not still a fucking great gun.
Oh, the AK is
So fucking reliable. If the fucking shit hits the fan,
I'm grabbing.
I'm sorry. I grabbing my AK, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
gonna work every fucking time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the 7.62 round will go through like all kind of shit and then some.
Yeah, I shoot through your fucking car door and I shoot through your fucking walls with that shit, dude. I'm just gonna open up. And I think it's fucking, I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of rounds I put through fucking AKs, and I think maybe one or two that fucking misfired,
Right.
versus fucking, an AR, I had a couple of issues.
And that misfire,
fucking the AR doesn't.
And probably that misfire only happened because you might have just like ran out of lube in between all those rounds you were shooting. That's probably.
Yeah, and just fucking got to fucking start over, but it never AK. You just fucking put the mag in and you're good to go.
Oh yeah.
Rack it and just poo poo poo.
Man, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. This is one for me to remember. That's for sure, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on board my little podcast.
Sure.
I don't have the numbers like some people, but this is really important to me. And as a fan of death metal and a fan of Dismember, dude, like this absolutely made my fucking year, and then some.
Hey, man, doesn't matter if you have 20,000 followers or 15.
Yeah. And
still makes no difference to me,
But the just being a fan, I didn't think it'd be possible, so I'm just glad I reached out to you. And I didn't, I had no idea that you would be this open about your personal life and what you do for fun, and the journey that you took with Dismember and your musical career, man. So I really appreciate that.
For sure.
Appreciate your time, for real.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you're into the band, Like I said, if it wasn't for people, we wouldn't be able to do what we like to do,
Yeah, man. So y'all got some festivals on tap, but like as far as shit, that's what I want to talk about. I didn't talk about unanimated because I feel like unanimated doesn't get enough into the conversation.
That is true. That is true.
That band was pretty much your baby, right? Like you started it, like vocals,
correct.
Music, everything.
Yeah, that was my band. I started it when I was 15.
And the God of Ancient Evil release. I mean, that shit goes so fucking hard. And I appreciate
it's a good album, and it's obviously it didn't get the exposure that maybe it deserved, but it sure has its respect because it was groundbreaking at that time. It was probably a little bit too early for its time, but it was very influential. Is what came later,
Yeah. And I remember you mentioning that you spent some time in Norway. You want to test out the black metal waters. Can you talk about that for us?
Yeah, I went up there playing with Satyricon for a while. I guess it wasn't really what I expected it to be.
Uh-huh.
And I guess a lot of personal things as well, So I just returned to Sweden and that was it, It's not really much to talk about. It was such a short period of time. We're talking 6 months maybe.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I don't really consider that to be something in my CV,
Yeah, I got you. So you didn't like tour with Satyricon or record anything with them at
No. I was about to, and unfortunately, I think me just leaving and go back to Sweden kind of halted them in their steps, because they were waiting for me a little bit, if I was going to return to start recording or whatnot. But that was not the case. I never did record anything with them. I just rehearsed with a band and stuff, a lot of stuff that became Rebel Extravaganza. Yeah. It was in between Divine and Rebel Extravaganza. I was up there.
Is black metal? Are you a fan of it? I mean, I know you're a fan of Bathory, and that's an important band for you as far as. And I see you wearing the dissection shirts. Is there anything else that you dabble into as far as the black metal genre?
Yeah, it's a lot. And again, to go back to what we talked about previous, back in the day, it was all under one umbrella. It was black or death metal. It wasn't as such like it is today, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Vatane. I like Vatane a lot too. They're great friends of mine, and there's a lot. I listen to a lot of black metal and extreme metal.
I actually got to meet some of the members from Vatane when during my first Inferno music festival in Oslo, and let me tell you, like, Eric is just a fucking gentleman to the T.
Good people.
Good people, man. Definitely tell it. I mean, despite what people may see on stage, or or their the pictures or whatever it is on social media, really great dudes.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, everybody has a time there's a time and place for everything, right?
Right.
Like we were saying, I consider myself being a gentleman, a nice person, a gentleman, but I can be a savage beast too, a barbarian when I need to,
Yeah, I've always told my sons, dude, like, I could be your best friend, I could be your worst enemy. It all depends on how you treat me.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's time and place for everything, but no, those are good people, Yep. I met a lot of assholes in the business that are full on themselves, but again, you forget where you come. You can't forget where you come from,
That's true. That's some good fatherly advice, because my dad would tell me all the same thing. Like, never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
There's some people who, like you said, there's some people who definitely forget where they come from, and they let whatever role they have, despite if it's in the music industry or at work, whatever. Like, they just let their status inflate that ego of theirs, and then all of a sudden it's like you're talking to a different person.
You just get lost, man, and it's ridiculous. Like, we were up in Maryland there, no matter where we go, we like to go out and fucking talk to people, and you can tell people are fucking, holy shit, can we take a picture? Like, yeah, of course, shoot the shit with them, it's like, it's great, it's fun,
Hell yeah, man. I actually, my friends were actually staying in the same hotel y'all were in Maryland. And I actually saw y'all. I think you were there. I remember seeing Robert. I remember seeing Fred. They were in the lobby. Y'all getting ready to. I think y'all waiting on the maybe the shuttles.
Shuttle, probably. Yeah.
And I was like, I know that's members of Dismember, but they're talking right now. I'm not gonna interrupt that. I'm just gonna But
we're a funny bunch. We're I mean, of course, there's time and place for everything. But. People come up and talk to us, we talk.
I didn't know how standoffish y'all might have been, because I've never spoke to anyone from Sweden.
Right.
I know a lot of Norwegian people, and I know, like, and the sad fact is that I'm kind of a victim of stereotypes, and
right.
And like, I've always been told that people from Scandinavia are kind of standoffish. To give them some room, let them let them dictate the scenario.
We can be, I guess, but again, we as Dismember ain't a band like that. When we're out doing our shit, when we're out playing and stuff, we're having a good time, and we talk to anybody who likes to talk. If you're a dick, you're gonna get treated like one, but. If you're cool, if you're cool and fucking talk, let's fucking shoot the shit, man. You got something to say, let's talk, man.
Fucking right, man.
If you're being a fucking douchebag, you're gonna tell it to fuck off. It's that easy,
It's that easy.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Who did the majority of your tattoos, man?
A friend back home in Stockholm, a childhood friend of mine who's a tattoo artist. He's done the most of my work, but I've done some work in Texas and, in Japan, when I was traveling, tried to pick something up here and there. But most of it is done in
Stockholm.
with my friend in Sweden, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw a little bit in your pictures, man. I'm a huge advocate of tattoos, and I noticed a little bit on your arm. I was like, man, those look fucking sick.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it's good to have a friend who's a tattoo artist
no
too.
Shit. Hell yeah, man. Before I let you go, because I don't know how much time I have with you, and I don't want to interrupt whatever you got going on at the house, man.
Right now, it's all good, man. It's fucking European Championship, football or soccer.
Who you pulling for?
I'm like, fuck, why did I say 6 o'clock? That's fucking bad time. I didn't plan this good, and, right before dinner and shit, but...
My bad, dude. My bad. I didn't think about that.
Neither did I.
So who you pulling for in the championship?
Well, since Sweden sucked dick, they suck. So, probably Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
I want to ask you because is Cabeza Spanish?
Yeah, it's not the typical Scandinavian name. Yeah, I'm half Spanish.
Oh,
my dad was from Spain.
Oh, okay. So you know some Spanish, I'm sure, because they.
I understand and read Spanish. I don't talk Spanish too much, but obviously in Texas, I can get around.
Yeah, I would say you have to get around somehow in Texas.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool, man. Because I feel as an American, and I'm not gonna speak for every American, but I feel like an absolute dumbass as far as education is concerned, because it feels like everyone in Europe, at least the places that I visited, if they work in a hotel, they know like 3 or 4 languages, like so fluent.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's that's a different mindset in Europe, I think, and as far as education, and especially about learning languages. We got to keep in mind the U.S. is a big country too. A lot of people don't even fucking leave their state.
Yeah, that's true.
They know what's around them. And hey, that's it.
Yeah.
There's some places in Texas where people, they've probably never been out of the fucking community.
Oh man, there's plenty of that in Louisiana as well.
I bet. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, so it's fucking, but in Europe it's different, much smaller, and you educate yourself and travel differently, and, learning the languages is good, I'm in the process now learning Dutch, since I'm living in Belgium, so I can speak Flemish. And
yeah, I've been utilizing the Duolingo app, and I'm not sponsored by them. I don't know why I just said that, but
I am.
I'm using Duolingo to learn, like, actually Norwegian, in fact, because I spend so much
time. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it's I'm getting there. It's a process.
I dabble in it a little bit, but I took online classes, and I found out I'm starting school actually this fall.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shit.
Gotta learn the language, man.
Yeah, I love learning new things, man. I was kind of late to the game as far as being a musician. Trying. It's the.
No, I was gonna see what time it was. But now since you know it, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were trying to look at the my ink. I was like, oh, it's my last Marine Corps rank on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I see that.
On the Statue.
That's pretty cool.
On the Statue of Liberty's forearm. Like,
nice.
There's the tort. Shit.
Nice. What was your final rank?
A corporal. Yeah.
Corporal,
yeah.
Right on.
I didn't. I was never made it to sergeant in the Marine Corps, but I was happy to be a corporal. Because I got to use this a lot. Yeah, y'all do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my son's next rank now. He's going to get promoted to corporal.
Yeah. He's a Lance Cooley. We call that. He's a Lance Cooley.
Yeah. He's a lance corporal now, so he's a I guess, but I don't think he's officially got this title yet. But he was he's corporal, but he was a lance corporal. So
Oh yeah.
I used to call him Lance Corporal Cabeza. Come here.
There you go. Yeah, man.
No, I'm on my cell phone, so it's like, fuck, what time is it? And I don't have my glasses.
I'm working off my cell phone too. So yeah, at any time, man, you want to kill it, we could. I've to be able to speak for you for over an hour now, man. I mean, that's fucking huge for me. I don't take it lightly, man. I really appreciate your time. Like I mentioned before.
For sure.
And definitely, I'm trying to make another show to see y'all, whether it be in San Antonio or in Oakland. I think I'm actually booked a flight to Oakland. Actually, I'm definitely going to go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll see you there then.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll make my way to find you somehow.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild one, man. I've never been out that way. I never in Oakland or San Francisco Bay Area, just passing through on a flight, but that was it. So
where did you do boot camp in San Diego? Or?
Yeah, I did boot camp same place as your son in San Diego.
Yeah.
And the backyard is the San Diego International Airport. So
right, yeah.
Did your son complain about all the jet fuel air they had to breathe into?
Yeah, and I could smell. I mean, I've been on the base too. Obviously, when he graduated, took the tour and family day and that shit. I've been there, but you smell it, and he's like, yeah, fucking, you stand here and you can't see all the houses and see the flames, and you just fucking, fuck this shit,
yeah. Fucking running 3 miles after an obstacle course, and you just like. So physically spent, and you're looking at the airplanes like, I bet that one's going home.
Yeah, and you can see the fucking, the mountains with the fucking palm trees and the houses there,
Man, I tell you, and then like when I graduated, we had the 10 days of vacation, or the Liberty package, as they call it.
Liberty, yeah.
Before we went to our either SOI or MCT schools. I stayed. I stayed as much in San Diego as I could. I wanted to explore California because I was, small town Louisiana boy. We're talking about people who, who don't leave their home state and whatnot. Shit, I was all about that. I was all about California, and Mata walked in a few strip clubs at the time, but that's neither here nor there.
Right now my son, he came home with me, like you said, he had to stay there 10 days of liberty before next school, so went back home and chilled, but it was fun though, that first night, when we got back to the hotel, we stayed in San Diego 1 or 2 days, and 4 o'clock, I just hear him rumbling in the room and making his bed. I'm like, what are you doing? Still that 4 a.m. and you're fucking the bed. I'm like, what the fucking hotel? It's 4 a.m., but I gotta go run.
He had to have his 6 inches of white folded neatly on the bed. He had to go.
Yeah. But I'm like, where's the fucking hotel, dude? What are you doing? It's 4 a.m. I'm trying to sleep. I'm going for a run, but you do you, man.
Was he? Let me ask you. Did he? Was he craving any snacks when he saw y'all? Like, did he ask y'all to bring any kind of treats?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot, and then we got home, he just wanted to it's fucking great,
Yeah, I mean, I remember specifically, I had my mom bring me a Snickers bar.
Snickers bar?
I swear to God, I thought I was a pregnant woman because I was just craving. The only thing I could, like, visualize and taste, I was like, I need a fucking Snickers bar. Like, I need it bad. Because, I mean, we didn't have any of that. Well, I mean...
No.
I had one friend who was ballsy enough, and he will go unnamed, but he knows who he is. That dude, like, every time we were in formation to go get our haircuts at the PX, that motherfucker would get out of the line and go inside the PX and and act like he was a regular Marine, but we were all wearing, no name tags, nothing.
Yeah.
And he just walked in, he would go buy all kind of shit, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, you get busted, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And we did one time, man. It was just like Full Metal Jacket. I mean, the foot lockers were busted open, spilled everywhere. Fucking everyone's on their face doing push-ups until we puked. It was terrible.
Yeah, that big thing. He eats like he's on the fucking clock, you know,
like he's in prison.
Oh, dude.
Like he's in prison.
Yeah, I got 2 minutes. I got shit to do. I don't have fucking time. Just fucking get it down. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just go down.
Hell yeah, yeah. I still do it too, man. It's like eat now, taste it later.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, man. Well, good talking to you.
Same here, Richard. Thanks again so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate your time, and I'll be seeing you soon, and I'll be in touch. I'll send you some links to what those firearms we're talking about.
Sounds great, man. Check it out.
All right, man.
All right, take care. Later, man.
If you would like to be a guest on Tales from the Riff, email mo@talesfromtheriff.org, or you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.